Good Monday morning, Waynedale Baptist Church. Thanks for tuning us in. I hope that you're ready to embark upon a brand new week. We had a great day in the house of the Lord yesterday, and I hope that you're all charged up and ready to work on the devotion. Today, the devotion is from Proverbs 11, 24 to 30. Hopefully you have one of these books. If not, you can read it online at www.odb.org and then just click the Read Now button. The title of the devotion is called A Flourishing Tree, Proverbs 11, 24 to 30. Here's what the Word of God says. There is one who scatters, yet increases all the more, and there is one who withholds what is justly due, but it results only in want. The generous man will be prosperous, and he who waters will himself be watered. He who withholds grain, the people will curse him, but blessing will be on the head of him who sells it. He who diligently seeks good favor, but he who searches after evil, it will come to him. He who trusts in riches will fall, but the righteous will flourish like the green leaf. He who troubles his own house will inherit wind, and the foolish will be servant to the wise-hearted. The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and he who is wise wins souls. You know, the Word of God is full, is literally replete with the message that living life God's way brings goodness and life and joy and blessings. Living life contrary to God's design brings destruction. Think of the passage from yesterday morning's sermon. It was from Psalm 127, and verse 1 begins with the words, "Unless the Lord builds the house, they who labor build in vain." And so, now more than ever, I just feel like this is a clarion call to us to have God in the center of everything, to do things God's way, to receive the nourishment and goodness of God by living according to His design. The title of the sermon, or the devotion, as I mentioned, is A Flourishing Tree. I don't know if you can see this planter above me, but this is here on the front porch of our home, and this thing has just flourished. It's green and lush and full of life, and when I look at it, I instinctively think about the refreshing of God. So, it's already warm out here, so I got a little sweat going. Here's what the devotion says. It says, "I've always had a collector's heart. As a kid, I collected stamps, baseball cards, comics. Now, as a parent, I see the same impulse in my kids. Sometimes I wonder, do you really need another teddy bear? Of course, it's not about need. It's about the allure of something new, or sometimes the tantalizing draw of something old, something rare. Whatever captivates our imagination, we're tempted to believe that if we only had X, our lives would be better. We would be happy, content. Except those things never deliver the goods. Why? Because God created us to be filled by Him, not by the things that the world around us often insists will satisfy our longing hearts. This tension is hardly new. The Proverbs contrast two ways of life: a life spent pursuing riches versus a life grounded in loving God and giving generously. In The Message, which is a Bible translation, it's a paraphrased Bible translation, Eugene Peterson paraphrases Proverbs 11:28 like this. He says, "A life devoted to things is a dead life, a stump. A God-shaped life is a flourishing tree." What a picture! Two ways of life, one flourishing and fruitful, one hollow and barren. The world insists that material abundance equals, quote, the good life. In contrast, God invites us to be rooted in Him. to experience His goodness, and to flourish fruitfully. And as we're shaped by our relationships with Him, God reshapes our hearts and desires, transforming us from the inside out. You know, it's so true that, as I mentioned earlier, when we live life God's way, we're full of life. And when we live it in pursuit of things, it leaves us hollow and barren. It reminds me of, I believe it's Isaiah 61, I do believe, that talks about how children are an inheritance from the Lord. And it goes on to say that they are like oaks of righteousness. So this week, just to kind of kick our week off, we can accept the challenge to be nourished by God, to fill those holes in our life with the things of God, the yearnings and cravings that we have, to allow them to be satisfied in the Lord. You know, so much of life is a choice. Today, Monday, July 6th, I challenge you to choose to worship Jesus, to choose to live life God's way, to choose life rather than death. The Bible makes it clear that God desires to give us life. And so today, as we start out, let's just choose to pursue the life that God has for us. And as we do, He'll bless and increase. We love you guys. Hope you have a good day. Looks like it's going to be a warm one. I'll look forward to seeing you back here on Wednesday evening. Again, we love you. Take care. God bless you.